And, both of us, and you in particular, were sceptical about the Russia's, Russia's protestations at the time and the troops not actually moving from the border. We've now heard in the last couple of hours, first this official recognition of these separatist regions, and now a peacekeeping mission. How do you read that?
Honestly, I'm shocked. I thought that Russia will stick to Minsk, but the proclamation of Putin basically acknowledging the independence of Russian-controlled regions is a direct violation of the Minsk agreements. And we're now all waiting what happens next. We heard that Russia will probably move in troops into the occupied Donbass. And so this is a direct violation of all agreements that Ukraine, Russia, and the international community had.
Troops moving into Donbass, do you see that as invasion?
Well, Russia invaded Ukraine in 2014. Russia occupied Crimea. Russia occupied Donbass. And this is now a further escalation. And we expect severe sanctions from the West.
We have heard the threat of severe sanctions, but given what we've heard from Vladimir Putin overnight and his movement this morning, do you expect those sanctions would work at this point?
I hope. I'm not sure they will work because Russia is financially stable. They have 600,000 billions in reserves. And we know that even the most severe sanctions, Russia will be able to survive them. And that's the biggest question right now. Will Russia react to the Western sanctions that must follow this recognition?
What will Ukraine do?
Well, right now, Zelensky has called the National Security and Defense Council. We expect a statement in the next hour. I have no doubt that Ukraine will react as harsh as possible, but unfortunately, right now, we rely on the Western community.
Indeed. So with that reliance on the West, what are the consequences of calling in the support of European allies and NATO?
Well, we expect sanctions against Nord Stream 2, against Russian oligarchs, against Russian cash in London and other countries, banks, institutions. If this doesn't happen, then basically Russia will have a reason to further invade Ukraine. And that's what worries myself and people in Ukraine right now.
If NATO does provide that military support, is that all-out war?
Well, we know that NATO is not going to move troops. We know that only Ukrainian soldiers are here to protect Ukraine, but we expect severe economic sanctions. We want Russia and Russian people to feel the actions of their leadership, because if Russia won't face any repercussions for its actions, then there is no way of stopping further aggression.
Do you think Ukraine would be willing to release these separatist regions to Russia? And if you did, would Russia stop there?
I think it's impossible because we know that Ukraine will never recognize Crimea or Eastern Donbass under Russia. This is the most important, the biggest topic right now in Ukraine, and any Ukrainian politician or president, he will never recognize this Russian action. So Ukraine will fight, Ukraine will resist, and now we expect the world to unite behind Ukraine.